Hello, I'm William Taylor. I drove for, well, I'll still call it Muni. It's called something else now. SFMTA, something like that. Anyway, I drove for 27 years. I saw something disturbing, and I would like to give my advice, to the other drivers still that have to do this. Now, I'm retired and happy, and I look back on it. If I would have known, I would have definitely did my job different. So hope I can make these comments to help you and make your day a little easier. You know, every trade, like I was a carpenter, and you just don't go cutting wood. You have to learn how to read a tape measure, learn how to have stuff leveled, procedure in nailing, toe nailing, all kind of procedures in nailing, where to nail, and you just don't take a hammer and go crazy. There's trade secrets. And so when you're a carpenter, you need to know this. You go to school. And when you're an operator, they have the training, but there really is no school. They try to give you techniques, but it's like water. You don't know what water feels like. If you've never been wet, you can't explain wet until you've been wet. Okay, so I want to give you my advice on this situation. Tell me what you think about it. Okay, you are a bus driver. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I'm looking at the situation. You gave commands. The kids aren't listening to you. Now, what I did was the same thing you did, basically. But he was a 13 boy, and, a little bigger than me, actually. So I guess that's probably why he thought he was going to do something, Anyway, I had to put hands on him. I didn't have to do that. When I asked him to get off, he said he ain't going no effing where. I lost it. I ran back there. I had my shirt, took my thing off, and just had my T-shirt on. I said, man, you going to get off, I'm going to put you off. I said, it's up to you. You ain't going to touch me. So I went to approach him, and his friend said, he's leaving, so he can go off the bus. And so he walked away, and I said, hey, man, I said, you respect me, you can ride. Disrespect me, you got to walk. That's the way that it goes. You know what I'm saying? So he went and told the principal. So the next day when I came out there, they was all out there waiting for me talking about what happened. I told him what happened. I said, in our culture, all the black men are told by their mother and father, you don't never run up in no black man's face. Ever. An elder. You respect your elders regardless. Now, if I'm telling you something wrong, that's different. But you was acting like a jerk. Anyway, so I told him, I said, well, regardless of what you tell, my supervisor like that, it says, as long as I'm doing this, if I'm not fired, don't worry about it. But if I'm doing this, ain't nobody going to get up and do this. None of these kids. I said, so that's just what it is, man. He said, what did he do? And I told him he disrespected me. I told him they could eat. He takes his ice cream and throws it on the ground and smashes it. Now I'll clean it up. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He gave me a look like, F you. He didn't say that, but he gave me that look. I said, okay, I got it, man. I said, you know what? He said, when you come home, you can't eat no more. And he gave me another F you look. I said, man, you know what? Matter of fact, just get up, man, and get off. He said, I ain't going nowhere. Everybody's like, ooh. I said, oh, you getting off the bus. I said, whether I drag you off, arrest you, or you going to get off the bus, I guarantee you get off the bus. So I'm like, no, it ain't. I took my thing off. I went back there. I was ready to handle him. You know what I'm saying? And then his friend said, no, man. No, G, we got him. He's leaving. And he got off the bus. Okay. So what happened was they dropped it. And so they said, well, he won't ride your bus no more. I said, okay, cool. Next day I see him, and I really feel bad. I really feel bad because, like I said, they're out of school. They're trying to impress the little girls and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I just felt sorry for him. So I saw all his friends go on the bus. He was waiting out there. And he knew he couldn't go on my bus. So I said, you know what? I said, hey, man. So I tried to talk to the guy, and he started running. I said, man, what's up? I said, can we talk to you, man? He said, that's right. I said, let me talk to you. So he finally came over. And I said, man, look. I said, first of all, I'd like to apologize, man. I said, I might have overreacted, but I'm not used to anybody talking to me like that. No boy or man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not used to it. I try to give everybody respect, so they respect me back. I said, I talked to you nice, and you threw the ice cream on the ground and stepped and just made a big mess. After I treated you guys, I'm like, hey, I'll clean the mess up. All I do is just keep it contained. If you threw the ice cream, put it on the chair. I said, that's what I'm saying, man. So I said, I'm sorry, can we start all over again? I said, what's your name? Give me his name. I said, well, I'm Bill, or they old you, if y'all want to call me, but I'm Bill. I said, we can start all over again, man. Get on the bus, man. I said, as far as I'm concerned, what happened over there, that's over. Okay? It's over. New start. I never had a problem with that guy, man. A great young man, Became great friends. I still never run until he graduated, and I know he did great things. A very classy individual. I mean, who knows what happened, why he acted like that today. I just ready to forget about it. So, and I kept the relationship when I had with the others because I let them know that me and him is cool. I said I was sorry, and said he liked it. The fact that I didn't tell him to say anything. I just said I'm sorry for the way I acted. I didn't really care about anything else. So that's the only problem that I had, So I suggest if you're going to stay on there, if you do have the same money, if you have the same job, tell the kids you're sorry. See, I lost it. I have to, be more patient with you guys. This is a very difficult job, and sometimes I lose it. But I have to learn how to take care of myself by letting my supervisor, my dispatcher knows when I've had enough, when I can't take it. Okay. Again, I'm sorry. Can we start all over again? My name is so and so, and they may say F you, but the point is that you'll feel better because you did the right thing. You don't want to go to work, hate your job if you plan to stay in 30 years. You don't want to do that. So you want to make it help. This is for you. Like I said, it's for you. We care about you as an operator, okay? So now you know what to do next time that happens. Let's take a look at some more. Okay, now you're very upset, and you have the right to be. I stress again, I've seen a lot of good operators lose it. It's a very stressful and difficult job. People have told me, oh, be peaceful. Don't let these kids get to you. You can't be peaceful, and those kids are going to get to you. So I'm on her side. Like I said, I was there. You may not like it, but I was there. I've been there. Hey, man, and I've seen other good operators go there too, But I'm telling you from experience what you got to do. Like I said, this is about you operators out there. Before you yell, think about what can happen if you lose it, okay? Consequences. Okay. Then you say to yourself, you know what? I don't have to do this. You don't. There's a radio in there to the dispatcher, and you tell them, hey, you know what? These kids are getting on my last nerve. They won't sit down so I can move. I've already told them. One guy has already ran up on my face. And ran up in my face, I'm ready to defend myself. I don't want to hurt any kids. Right now, I'm at the point where I don't have the capacity to continue without some kind of aid. I'm afraid for their safety and my safety also. I'm not able to function. Is it possible you can send someone out here? Stay calm, that's the thing. If you start talking to them like a raving maniac, they're going to start getting worried, and maybe this job ain't for you. But this job is for you because you're going to remain calm. Second thing I want you to do is tell the kids, I feel too good right now. I'm going to step outside right now for a breather. You guys relax, okay? When you go outside, I want you to flag someone down. Wave your hands and flag any car down who says, wrong. I'm a school bus driver, and I'm about to lose it. I don't want anything to happen with these kids, or even to me. I think the safest thing to do, if you can stay with me until help has come. I've called dispatcher and help is on the way. Somebody's going to stay with you. If nobody does, you keep on flagging them down. Now, this is going to make the kids know that something about to happen. There's repercussions. You're not going to just sit there and take them acting wild, okay? And, I find it very crazy that these kids don't fear, with all these phones out, that their parents are going to see this. And I guess they don't care. Because I don't know any parents that, I don't know anybody like that. If they saw their kids on there, when they got on, their kids is getting it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to play that. You embarrass them, and you make yourself like a fool. You're not respecting your elders. So many things. But they're not scared. When that person sits with you, start talking about your day, but talk yourself down. Don't get back into it being involved and getting mad again. Work yourself down and say, yeah, I got to calm down because I'm trying to stay professional. Professional doesn't mean that you handle every situation perfect. But being professional means that you do the safest thing to keep everybody safe. and that's asking for help, moving yourself, not from the kids, but just off the bus enough where they're still safe on the bus. To break the bus is in park. Okay, you curb your wheels, put your wheel block outside, and you just sit outside the door, and you let that person, if they will, they will talk to you, and they will calm you down. They will tell you, listen to them, even if they don't know anything about a bus, listen to them, and they can calm you down. It's going to help. I did this before. Matter of fact, because I'm driving the city bus, some people from on the bus came and talked me down, and they waited till the police came and everything, and they saw the whole thing. In this case, the kids are in there, and they're not. In fact, some kids probably will say, hey, don't worry about it, he's a jerk, or whatever like that. And they'll try to talk you down and say, are you all right? Some kids will. All the kids on that bus ain't bad. Matter of fact, I don't think nobody on that bus was bad. I just think you have to be trained. And a lot of them didn't have home training on this part. Doesn't mean that they're not going to get it. Maybe this will spark another dialogue in their household to say, wait a minute, you did that? Why? Why weren't you scared? Of repercussions that you all on camera and ran up and swinging at the bus driver, another adult. You're that bold. Let's talk about this. Where you get that much nerve? You know what I'm saying? So this might spark a whole nother dialogue with it being shown, But yeah, so you call somebody, sit there and wait till you get help, okay? Don't yell, because it's just, I've been there. The more I yelled, the more mad I got. It didn't help. So I learned, through doing what you're doing right now. The next time I say, I'm going to ask for help, and I did. Let's see what else we got.
Sit down. Oh, we're not leaving. We are not leaving.
So now you hear the kids want to go home too. So he's stopping all of them from going home. So you could have just remained calm, and eventually it would have worked itself out. They would have made him be quiet because they wanted to go home too. Once you got upset, he got what he wanted. He got everybody's attention. So at that age, that's what it's all about, is attention. So he is now famous. Well, I don't even call that famous. What do they call it? Notoriety, being noticed for something bad. Because he'll be the one that the girls talk about for the next, when they talk about junior high school or elementary school, whatever that was. Remember that dude that tried to fight the teacher and got his shirt pulled off and thrown off the bus? He marked himself, but that's a lack of attention. He wanted, a young man just wanted attention, and he got it. He wanted to be popular. He's popular, but for the wrong reason. They call that infamy, okay? So if you're young and you're watching this, you don't want to be in his position. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that the girls are going to remember. Remember how silly he looked when he saw his butt crack and his shirt off? They're going to remember all that. And they're going to go home and laugh about it. It's on videotape now. The whole world's seen it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need that position, young man. I hope this gets destroyed and never shown again, but for your sake, because I feel for you too. I think that you did all that, to be noticed. And it got you the wrong kind of attention, man. That's all I'm saying, young man. We could do better. It's a whole lot of ways to be noticed, and you would have been noticed and remembered had you said, hey, everybody, calm down. This is a hard job, Just be cool, sit down and stop yelling. Let's let her go, let her get us home. More people would have remembered that, and you would have got hella likes on Facebook or whatever, or TikTok, whatever this was on. And the girls and the young men would respect it. Even the ones who would have called you corny later on, you'd have been remembered for that. That would have took you a whole lot more than the mileage on having your shirt off and, being tossed around by the bus driver. But, hey, man, we learn better, we do better. So we'll see what's up next.
Shut your ass up! You shut up!
You're a grown-ass woman.
Okay, now, the aftermath now, see. So, You hear the children, you hear the children, and see, I feel you. You're trying to reason with them. A mob is not reasonable. A mob has no leader. There are people telling people to shut up and sit down so they can go. And then all talking about you, ooh, like you a child. And he said, and you a grown-ass woman. You see all that? See? Everything just got worse. It got worse. This is what you should remember as an operator. Now you see what this leads to. You ain't going to look good. I swear, if he had a knife and started stabbing you, they would have said, you a grown-ass woman go just punch him because he just stabbed you. He's just a kid. And the parents, the police would have said the same thing. Now, police probably wouldn't because he's black. The police wouldn't. But the parents, well, I mean, it's just a little knife. You ain't cut that bad. You have to punch my son in the face. It would have been a lot of idiotic comments. But you see, the mindset. Yeah, you're an adult, and you want to try to get home safe. But this is why you don't ever want it to get this far. That's why we ask for help when we see we're going there. You're on a hill on a bike. You're riding, you get to another hill, and this hill is steep. You want to go down there with no brakes and then put your brakes on, not using the brakes and put the brakes on at the last minute, or do you want to go down that slow so you can get down there safe? You want to go down there slow. Asking for help is the mental break. That's the first thing. Another conversation with another human being who can look at the situation from nobody's side, because you may appear crazy, but he can look at your son. You ask for help. That's going to slow it down. He's going to say, well, hold on, what happened? Are you all right? He's going to inquire and get your mind off the situation and give you another perspective of it. And that would calm you down, and you will never get to this place again, because this is your career we're talking about. No one wins or loses here. It's not about they won and you lost. That's not true. He lost. Boy, and he's not going to realize how much he lost when they start bringing up the word assault, because he did hit you first, and it's on tape. And even though his parents or whoever is his guardian may feel you were wrong, hope they don't feel like that, and there's those consequences. Oh, there is. There's a consequence for putting your hands on the bus driver, no matter what age you are. Okay? And he walked up and attacked you. Okay? So, yeah, that's up there. Like I said, I pray for that young man, because if he can't control himself, supervised with an adult there and his friends, he tries this on the street, he may not come home. So we want our young men to be wise and not operate like this. Operate while it's under your compunction. Forget about this. I'm just going to show her what time it is. It's never going to work out for you like that, bruh. Never. Never. There's no such thing as being tough and bad. They all dead. You talking to survivors here who survived. Okay? So young man, word to you. Maintain. Be cool. Respect your elders, man. You'll never get anywhere if you don't. If somebody tell you different, they lying to you. Respect your elders. Okay? So, basically, that's the it. Because it got to the point no one wanted to get to. No one wanted to get to a point of violence here. We should have stopped this a long time ago. You can't control them. You can remove yourself from the situation by pulling over, make sure your parking brake, wheel block, curb your wheel, step outside the door, try to flag other parents down. Anybody other parents could have helped. They might have recognized some of the kids on the bus and calm things down. But that's what the first thing you want to do is get help. Notify your dispatcher. Okay, let them know where you are mentally before you get there. Just imagine yourself top of a hill, and before you go down that hill, you're going to start using your brakes. And people are mental breaks, okay? I wish success to everybody in that video. I hope that we all learn something. It's just my advice. You may not be able to use it, but I hope it was helpful. God bless you and have a great day.
You're a grown adult. You're a grown adult.